Hi everyone, and welcome to Talking Over Tea. This year we are participating in the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, which is put on by Chantel at Chantel Reads All Day. We're really excited to be doing this year, and it is basically a year-long challenge that has one prompt a month to pick a book from your shelf.
So we wanted to film ourselves reading the books we picked for the January prompt, and the first prompt was to pick a book that had A or the as the first word in the title.
To start off the vlog, we both talked about what books we picked for January. So I wanted to go ahead and do my first update for the day. I had my class at 7 and also went to the post office, and now I'm just about to do some school for the day, but I wanted to share what book I will be reading for this video. We are doing the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, and I think the first prompt for January is to pick a book that starts with D or A. So I decided to go with The Mysterious Benedict Society and The Riddle of Ages. This is the fourth book in this series. It came out in 2019 and the other books were quite a bit before that. I got this at Barnes & Noble, and I feel like I've mentioned it before, but I'm not remembering what post that would have been from. I got this video probably 2 years ago and haven't read it yet. I don't know if that's because I've been scared to see what this one will be like, or if I just kind of got out of the series a little bit as I got older. I actually just finished my reread of the series, so now I'm actually really in the mood for this one, because going through the books just reminded me how much I really like them, and I really want to know what this is actually going to be like. I'm actually reading quite a few other books right now, and I'll mention those. So I've been reading The Golden Road by Ellen Montgomery. This is the sequel to The Story Girl, which I read last year, and I'm almost done with it, and it's been super good. And yeah, I've been tabbing lots of things and telling Maddie all of these funny scenes that have been in it, and it's just been so heartwarming, and I'm really glad that I decided to read this in January. I've also been sort of reading. I have barely started it, but I have selected poems from Alfred Lord Tennyson. I've barely started this one, but I wanted to try to have a poetry book going, so yeah, that hasn't been going super well, but hopefully I can get through this one, because I would like to. It's super short, and I've really enjoyed some of his poetry. I just need to kind of get into it more. I'm also reading The Deception by Laura Gallier. This is the sequel to The Delusion, which I finished yesterday. This is a spiritual warfare trilogy, and it's been interesting so far. I barely started this one and will probably put it down for a while to read the Mysterious Benedict Society book. I'm also reading Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I've read this before and I'm reading it for an online class. I'm this far in, so not too much. And yeah, it's been pretty good. I feel like I'm getting into it. I don't remember loving it when I read it, I think when I was 14. But I'm pretty sure I'll like it a lot more this time around. So that is everything that I'm reading right now. It's a lot more than I usually read at one time, but I'm hoping I can finish some of them up and just kind of pick my favorites as I go along. It's 10 right now, and I have quite a bit of things to get done, so I probably won't start The Riddle of Ages for a bit, but I thought I'd go ahead and talk about everything that I'm reading right now to get this started a little bit, and I'll update when I start the Mysterious Benedict Society book, hopefully pretty soon.
Okay, so hopefully we have done like a little intro to this video. We haven't filmed that yet, but hopefully we are going to. But I wanted to talk about the book that I picked for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. I kind of had to do this really fast because I did it before work one day. And so I just kind of looked at my bookshelf to try to find any books that started with D or A. And there weren't actually that many. I thought it was going to be so easy. There were going to be so many books to choose from. But there weren't that many that I hadn't already read. So I picked these books, and I was kind of trying to like rule out which ones I didn't want to read. I didn't really want to read The Grapes of Wrath just because it's so long, And kind of the same with the Pilgrim's Progress. I wanted to start off with something a little bit easier. So I decided to go with The Crew of the Dolphin by Hesba Stretton. This is in the Lamplighter collection, and this will be the first one I've ever read. I picked this one up at a used bookstore. They had like quite a few of them, and I was like, oh, I really want to get one. So I just decided on this one. I didn't know what it was about. I just knew that the Lamplighter collection is really good. So I picked this one up, and this one is about a man named Peter Blake who is a sailor, and he is asked to work on this ship called the Dolphin, and he has a young family, so he doesn't like to take ships that are not that are unseaworthy. And there's one company, or one, I don't know if it's a company, whatever, I don't know any sailing terms, but someone who owns these ships who is very notorious for their ships sinking because they're not very good. And so he is trying to make the decision on if he should go or not. And he does eventually go, and his younger brother also goes with him, and that's kind of all I know about it. I've just read I read 50 pages. It's a pretty short book. I'm already like a quarter of the way done. But yeah, it's been really good so far. I've listened to the Lamplighter collection, like the Lamplighter audio dramas, those are really, really good. I really like those. So that's why I wanted to read some of the books. I don't know if they have one audio drama of this book, but I haven't listened to it, so I don't know the story at all, except for what I've read. So I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. I've really liked it. I haven't read anything that's like this kind of like simple old story in a while, so yeah, I'm really liking it. So I finished The Crew of the Dolphin a few days ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really short and really simple book. There's not a whole lot that happens in it, but it was just like a sweet, kind of sad story, and I'm really glad that I read it. There's not a whole lot to say about it because it is so short and not a whole lot happens, but it definitely has the lovely image of us being in God's hands even when bad things happen. So yeah, I would recommend this if you want something that's easy and just a nice simple story.
Alright, so I have some updates to make on some of the books I've been reading. I actually finished The Mysterious Benedict Society and the Riddles of Ages earlier today, and I ended up enjoying it. I tabbed a few things and just thought it was a good book overall. I gave it 4 stars, and it definitely did not have all of the charm and excitement that these books originally did for me when I was like 10 or 11. And I didn't expect it to. I knew that as I've gotten older, it's not going to be the same for me. I wasn't super into the whole like plot of this book. I really was just here for seeing the characters and seeing what they were doing now in their lives as they got older. So I enjoyed this one overall. I really liked seeing where the characters were, and I thought the author did a really good job of implying that time had gone by and really showing that in subtle ways, but not like spelling it out all of the time. I really liked how the characters had developed some of the traits of Mr. Benedict and how they just worked so well together. So yeah, I think that's all my thoughts on this one. I'm happy that I actually got to it, and ended up liking it pretty well. Next, I finished The Golden Road today. This one was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It was just everything that I love in a story. The characters were just amazing and I felt like I knew them so well. And there was bittersweet moments and it was definitely sad at times, but it was so funny at other times and just so heartwarming, and I will definitely be reading this many, many times. If you don't know what this story is, it is the sequel to The Story Girl, which I think I mentioned before. The Story Girl is about these 2 brothers who come to live with their cousins, and they have a couple other friends as well, and just all about their childhood and all of the adventures that they go on and interesting things that they do. I feel like other authors could make that very boring, but Ella Montgomery has never made like typical everyday life boring in any of her stories, and it's always just so delightful and so heartwarming, and she just has the perfect reads for so many different times in life. I know I've talked about her a lot already, so I will not say any more on that one. I've also been reading Jane Eyre a little bit more, and I am on chapter 21. I feel like I'm not liking this one as much as I thought I would, and it is not anything against the story. It is a very well written story, and it makes you feel a lot of things. It is in no way boring or lacking in anything that a good story has. My main problem with it is the characters. I hate Mr. Rochester. I really do not like him as a character. I do not like Miss Ingram or any of the party that he brings with him. I cannot stand how they're just so mean and so prideful and think they're better than everyone else. And Jane is always saying how like Mr. Rochester is so kind to her and everything. It's really hard to see that in the way that he is portrayed in the book. I really admire how Jane is so forgiving of this, but I wish she wouldn't let them further her belief that she isn't as good as them or deserving of friendships and things like that. So I'm definitely enjoying this one as a story, just not how these characters are acting. So this is probably my last update for this video. I finished the book that I intended to read and did some other reading as well, which I was happy about. I definitely have not read much this month, but I'm really happy with all the books that I've read, and I am excited to hopefully be reading some other good books this month.
So that was all that we filmed for this vlog. We both really enjoyed our books. We're really excited to continue with this challenge, and we'd love to know if you would like to see us reading some of the other books for this challenge. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.